Okay, well, I am here to show Mr. Joe Kulis how to catch coyotes in foothold traps. And this is his farm, and he's done a pretty damn good job with the snare so far. Now it's time for phase 2. And we chose this location because, as you can see, we're on an access road that runs right along the power lines from major road to major road. It's a long, unbroken feature. That's what canines travel on. And then right here is an intersection with another access road that goes all the way up there, right along that woods, all the way back. Long running features. This is the intersection. This is where that group of coyotes and any traveling coyotes coming up this road, this is dead center. This is where the main key is. This is like the hub on a wheel with the spokes. Everything comes together right here in the bottom of this valley. This access road goes up there, that goes up here, this long running feature. We're right here. This is where we're going to catch them, and this is where they're going to be. And I'm going to show Mr. Kulis how to make a dirt hole set for coyotes, and I guess he's going to film it, so I'm going to get started. This is an MB550. They're made by Minnesota Trapline Products. This is a coyote catching machine. You can catch a house cat in this accidentally, and that cat will be fine. Offset jaws, 3/8" jaw surface. It's just a great canine trap, and it's out of the box, ready to use. You don't have to do any adjustments or modifications to it. And we're using Berkshire disposable cable stakes attached to the swivel with a split ring. So I'm going to set the trap, and then I usually set the MB550s with my feet because when I'm trapping heavy, my hands get worn out and I'm a big wimp, so I use my feet. And then the only thing you have to do, put your finger on here. The trap is made, it has a night latch in it. You'll hear it click. Click. And that trap, that's the way it sets out of the box, perfectly level. And the pan slightly below the jaw levels. And it's set at 3.5 pounds of tension, what it will take to set that trap off. So we have a backing here, a rock, football size rock, and then we're going to dig the trap bed right here because we want it. Matter of fact, there's a coyote track right here in the dirt. It's hard to see, but that's a coyote track right there in the dirt. And the rock is a backing to prevent it from coming from the back side. We have the wind coming this way. You have to face the wind when you're making your set. It's going to blow the lure and bait smells this way. Fox and coyotes are going to come in, and federal research has proven it, they're going to come in mostly at a 45-degree angle. Coyote's tall. We want the trap pan to be from the backing to the center of the pan 9 inches, which between my pinky and my thumb, that's where it's going to be, 9 inches. And then we have to dig out a bed to bed the trap in to get it below ground level.
Does it matter that it's a little muddy?
This right here, no, it's no big deal because I bed all my traps in peat moss because it's waterproof and you don't need a pan cover to stop dirt from filtering in underneath the pan. And I hardly ever kneel when I'm making a set. You know, the less ground to human contact you got, the better. I mean, these are ghetto yotes. I mean, for Christ's sakes, they're at a landfill and people. So they're not too afraid of human activity or scent. But I just don't like to get dirty too much. Then we pre-fit it to make sure it's going to be in there. That's great.
Does it matter the direction?
Well, like I said, federal research has proven that when they work a set, they're generally going to come in at a 45-degree angle. So right now, with the way the trap is set, whether he's right-footed or left-footed, see, I got the dog right here, the spring right here, and the hole is going to be right here. So it's going to be offset about 2 inches to compensate for right foot, left foot, depending on which way it comes in. You can have it straight on. It's all personal preference, but I've had my most success with the trap at a 45-degree angle. And the Berkshire disposable stakes, you need a driver, and it fits right in that little nipple on the end of the stake, and then goes in the ground. I push it down as far as it'll go, and then how comes the hammer? Once this stake is in the ground, you could pull your truck out of the mud with it. And I get everything below ground level, give it a little twist. Driver comes right out. Stake is in the ground. Works on a cam action. As soon as he puts any pressure on it, that metal is going to turn sideways and lock. It's a done deal after that. It ain't coming out. And then I get a little peat moss in here. Get the trap in set at the angle that we want it. And then I take some of the loose dirt that I dug out of the hole, and then we use to reinforce the trap to the sides of the bed.
So even though it's wet and clay, it's actually good.
It's actually good. You know, in dry dirt you can't do it.
What do you do in dry dirt?
Go to somebody's barn and dig up some dirt in the floor. And if it's that wet, I don't even bother. But there's other products you can use. Buckwheat hulls are completely waterproof. They sell waxed dirt, which is dirt that's actually waxed. They use solar panels to make it. And see that? That fox or coyote can step anywhere on that trap. It's rock solid. It ain't gonna move. And then I get the peat moss over it. Now the peat moss will compress as long as you don't have big chunks in it. And I don't know where you got this peat moss in at, but
Of course.
It's not exactly what you would call a great peat moss.
But it'll work.
Yeah, it works, but it's full of clumps and sticks and everything else. And now, once we have that, then we take a little dirt on this mega sifter that Mr. Kulis made. And he's got the Fred Flintstone sifter over here. And
ooh, that looks good.
So a little bit more.
So even though it's wet, you can still sift it.
Yeah, you gotta grind it through the screen.
Huh.
Gotta grind it through the screen, just like you're grating cheese. Okay, and then I just take my glove hand, get it leveled out. Okay, and then we'll take this, and it's nothing but an attractor. It's dug up dirt. And Put a couple of clods right here, because we know he's going to come this way or this way to approach the trap. And then, because the smoothest spot he has to step is right there. That's right where the business end of the trap's at. And then we dig the bait hole. This tool's called a groundhog. Northern Fur and Sport in Elyria, Amherst. They sell this tool. Digging spud, blade, hammer, and trowel, all in one. Then once we get it about 10 inches deep, there's the hole. And then we make it look like a little burrow, so to speak. And then we'll take this fine grass and just brush in the little dirt pattern here a little bit. Nothing crazy. In my area in Jogger County, I have to use a pair of scissors to do this with, because we have a lot of fescue and rank grasses, and it doesn't tear up and shred like that by hand. And then we take our gloves off, and then we'll get that baited and lured up. Real goldenrod stem. Mother Nature's bait tool. I'm just gonna plant this right here.
Why?
So we want to keep them from the back. We don't want them to dig it out from the direct sides. So, and I'll usually take another rock, a little goldenrod stem, another fist-sized rock, and put it right there. We want them right there. And then I'm going to use the bait, Tim Caven's Minnesota brand Hiawatha Predator bait. This is ground bobcat, gophers, and beaver. And it's got a bunch of other ingredients added to it, like beaver castor and mink glands, and it stinks to high holy heaven, but coyotes, woo, don't get any on your hands. And this is a coyote gland lure made by Blackie's Blend. He has since passed, and another manufacturer in Ohio, because most of the major trapping manufacturers, lure makers, they're in Ohio. Ed Molnar, Keith Winkler, Greg Wilson, JR and Sons, Blackie's Blend from Glenmont, Ohio. It goes on. And that's a little bit of coyote gland lure. Everything goes right in a hole. And then a shot of coyote pea right on the face of the rock. All it needs about a half an ounce. Coyotes don't piss more than that at one time. And then once we got everything down in the hole and get all of our stuff back on the side by side, because normally this is all Mr. Kulis's equipment. If I had my equipment, I could be in and out in less than a minute. A minute and 20 seconds is about what it takes me to make a set and go. But we're using his equipment, so
What about a
slower.
redo?
Now, what I'm going to do now, the last thing I do is I get another clump of this grass and I wad it up into a ball. You can use the grass on site. I normally use sheep's wool. Sheep wool in itself is full of lanolin. It's greasy, it's waterproof, and it looks like fur. And the critters see this, they smell something, and then they got to get to it. And I plugged the hole up with that water grass. Now, we'll have some action on that within 48 hours, 2 days. And knowing what I know about this place, I'm saying probably tonight.